Okay. Hi, welcome back to Renee Ruth Music. Hope everyone is doing well.
Hey!
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fabulous.
We have someone with us. Okay, just so you know, you may not know this, you are literally our first guest on this podcast. What?
Yes.
Oh my god! First, and we are so happy it's you because we did not know. She was the beautiful singer that I performed with at the Christmas Lynchburg Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, that's amazing.
And she was
So
the opera
amazing.
singer that was just stunning. And yeah,
I
isn't
love
that
opera.
incredible?
If you don't know this, I love opera.
He actually
so much.
can kind of sing opera too, which is super fun. But this is not about us.
This is not
We're
about us.
actually here today because, no. So I got to know her a little bit on stage and she's fascinating. And I said, you must come on our podcast and tell us more about you because I want to know more about you. So,
And I said I would be absolutely thrilled and honored, and I'm so flattered that you would invite me. I'm thrilled to be
I'm
here.
just so honored you agreed to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're happy. So yeah, let's learn more about Adelaide.
Yes. You've done so much.
So much.
You've done so, I was so impressed whenever I was researching you to find all the things that you've done. You're actually a professor on top of everything else that you've done. You've been a professor.
I have, so we have a little bit in common.
How was that? So,
She still is though.
oh, that's amazing. So, how did that fit into everything you're doing? Like, was it professor first, and then you found the love of music, or the music is kind of what led you to be a professor?
Yeah, I think it all kind of happened all together, actually. I mean, I was performing, I was doing competitions, I was learning how to sing, and then at the same time, I really was craving a little bit more financial stability.
Oh, we know about that.
So I did explore the opportunity of potentially working at a university, and in that exploration, I found this opportunity and I went for it, and they liked me, so that worked out. And of course, I still had a lot of big dreams and auditions for managers and agents to perform in New York, and I was like, well, it's just a one-year contract, so let me try it, right? If I like it, great, I can stay. If I don't like it, that's fine, then we can do a new adventure. And here I am 14 years later.
14.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
14.
And you actually debuted at 21.
Yes,
That is amazing.
that
Tell us
was
about that.
wild
Tell us about that.
What was
Yeah.
that like?
Well, I was very young and I just wanted to go for this big competition, and it was the most famous opera competition there is, which would be with the Metropolitan Opera, which is kind of has a long, funny name. It's the Metropolitan Opera National Council Auditions, which is abbreviated as MONC. But anyway, so I went for it. And I was the youngest age. You had to be at least 20 in order to enter the competition.
Oh, wow.
And since it is a national competition, you won't be surprised to hear that it has many levels of the competition. So I did the first level, which is district, and so there's many districts, thousands of districts all over the country, and surprisingly, won. Then after that, I would do the regional area. So at this time, I was studying at the University of Illinois, so I was in Illinois, Champaign, Illinois,
Yeah.
which is where I was born and raised, grew up, side story. So then the regional competition would be in a very fancy and famous performance hall in Chicago. Right? So that was a big deal. So then Chicago would have all the competitors of that region, right?
Okay.
So many more schools competing in that. So that competition was interesting because I had the flu. I was very ill.
No, we've been there a few times.
Thankfully we carpooled. There were a couple of us in the competition, and I remember sleeping in the car the whole time and having very rough warm-ups and just like, this is just not gonna happen. This is just not good. But my father was watching the competitors, and he said to my mom, she can win this.
Even
Wow.
sick, even sick.
And I had not gone on stage yet. And my mom said, you need to go down, you need to go find her. So he left the performance, the competition that was ongoing, went downstairs, found the dressing room, knocked on my door. I was like, Dad, what are you doing? You have to go up in like 5 minutes, you know, what's happening? And he said, you can win this. I'm like, Dad, that's very sweet. I'm sick, you know, I don't feel well. All of these are some amazing singers at fancy schools in Chicago. I mean, he said, no, you can win this. And I said, okay, all right. So then I went up for my turn, and really pulled up my bootstraps, as they say, and definitely was very ill, but I said to myself, okay, can you do 5 minutes? Yes, I can do 5 minutes. And I remember just that inner monologue, okay, stand up tall, smile, don't fall over, don't pass out, don't pass out, don't pass out, okay, bow, don't pass out, walk off the stage, and then kind of collapse, not collapse as in,
Sure.
medically collapse, but, find a place to rest, and what the flu feels like. You feel
absolutely.
weak, you got the racing heart rate and everything. Round 2, then it comes around again, I do my second selection, similar scenario. And, I'm on stage, they're about to announce the winners, third prize gets announced. Oh, darn, I really thought I had a shot for third. I really thought I had a shot for third, second, etc. And first they announced my name, complete shock. Of course, I'm the youngest contestant, I'm only 20 years old, and
Wow.
Announced the winner. It was odd because, it's very commonplace for there to be, fine dining and fine beverages, such as wine and cocktails,
Sure.
at the after party of such an event. And I found it a little bit comical that everyone was aware of my age because it's published in the program, because that's part of the adjudication, is they're trying to sort of evaluate your age and your ability, and that goes into their assessment of your potential, right? So I could not partake in any of those types of festivities, I was like, but I'm a winner, So I found
My celebratory cocktail.
I found it a little bit comical, but anyway. So after that win, that was a very big win, that was followed with a lot of publicity at that point, at my university especially. So after that, then I would be going to the Met. And fortunately for that region, that was one of the earlier regions. So fortunately I had, I was in like November, so December, January, February, March, I had 4 months to mentally wrap my head around the fact that I was going to be competing on the Metropolitan Opera stage.
Wow.
And that did take some time to adjusting to, and I do remember walking the streets every day and saying to myself, I am good enough to sing at the Met. I am good enough to sing at the Met. I am good enough to sing at the Met because they said so. Right? They said so, because that certainly wasn't something that I had
A preset
in
for
mind.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So I went to New York, this small town, farm town, hundreds of miles of flat land, Illinois girl. And New York was a very big, scary city for me, so I was
Sure.
grateful that my dad did come along with me. And at this point, I had turned 21, and
She
so I
can
was
celebrate now.
Yes.
Yep, so then I was in the city and was able to partake in this special life opportunity of being in this competition. It ended up being, I think, about a 2-week daily activity
Wow.
situation.
Yeah.
And you get this little card with your name on it that says Metropolitan Opera Artist, and you go
Do you
in.
still have this?
I do,
Yeah,
yes.
And you go in the special stage door where all of the world-class artists have entered that same arena, and you just get to hang out there and be there and be a part of it, and that gets to be your purpose. So that was really amazing. So then you did what is called the semifinals, the national semifinals. So now we have all of the regional winners have come to compete on the stage with just piano for the semifinal round. I sat through several of them, I don't know, but there were several more to go, and I was like, I cannot listen to any more of this greatness.
Was it just?
It was
Was
just
it just
so
overwhelming? You're like, I have
I
to
have
go
no
against
business
this.
being here.
Oh,
I have no
the
business
doubts
being
come
here.
in,
It's
right?
just-
Like your mind starts to play
They were
games.
incredible. Why
Yeah.
on earth
Yeah.
would I be
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
What do I have to offer? I mean, it was just one incredible vocal spectacle after another. It was amazing, so I had to get out of it.
I would have been lining up to like, I can't.
So I left. We went to, again, a similar gathering, after party type of thing, and could not believe that my name was chosen at that moment of one of 7 out of, I think, these 28 or so national semifinalists.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then I became, at that point, I was going to stay another week, and so I became a national finalist at that point, one of 7, and that was really exciting because that meant I got to sing on stage for a live audience with the renowned Metropolitan Opera Orchestra.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
There it
The
is.
entire orchestra. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But how long did you have to prepare for that? Because you're.
Yeah, seriously.
Not long. That's the beauty of it. You know, when you're working with professionals and they all know what they're doing, and this is their existence, this is their job, this is their vocation. It's just bing, bing, done. I mean, we did it. We sang it. Okay, done.
Amazing.
It wasn't difficult at all. It was incredible. And I definitely remember standing on that stage, and the view out is just spectacular. And remembering just really taking it in. Gosh, I may never see this again. What a privilege to look out at that beautiful hall. It's a very different view from the people looking on the stage. So yeah, it was a dream. It was incredible. And I remember walking off that stage, although I was not one of the official 3 winners, and at that point when you advance that far in the competition, you cannot compete again, because that's certainly some level of success that, you know, it was wonderful. And I just remember feeling like, oh, I could just die for that right now. This is amazing.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Like, what an accomplishment, though, at such a young age.
Thanks.
So where do you go from there?
Yeah, where do you go? Up and down, I guess.
No, we
But
just keep going up.
No, because Chad did a lot of research and that's not what happened.
Yeah, that is not what happens. Not what happens.
Well, for me, I was only 21, so I had not graduated college yet.
Okay.
So for me, I needed to go back to college and finish my degree.
Right, sure.
And so I did, and there were still a lot of other contacts that came from that, people who had seen the performance, people had heard from the performance. One in particular would have been the people at Yale Opera. So they heard me, would be Doris Yara Cross and her husband Richard Cross, who were, I'm not sure if they were founders of Yale Opera, they might have been, but they were certainly the head people of that department, and they started recruiting me from that point. And so that is the story of how I went to Yale University for my master's program, which is also very thrilling.
Okay, so I like low-key watch Gilmore Girls all the time.
I've heard that there.
Rory goes to Yale. I'm just like, I've low-key been like, what if I'm an Ivy League one day? Like maybe when I'm 80, I'll be that little 80-year-old woman sitting in Yale. So wait, you did your master's at Yale in opera.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's actually all you need to teach is a master's. Is that, what did you do once you finished your master's? Did you go right into teaching?
Yes, so I was auditioning for agents and managers, and there was some interest there, but it really came down to wanting some financial security and a little bit of emotional rest from the angst that that was accumulating with the uncertainty of an artistic career like that. I think some people are able to handle that, and I'm very happy for them. But I could tell that I felt like I needed a little bit of a break from that competitiveness, because it's just so uncertain that it's hard to not fall into the trap of feeling like, you know, any imperfection could be the difference between you get this role or you don't, or you're called back or you're not. And that type of standard on yourself will most likely lead to an unpleasant, overly stressful experience, and will prevent you from enjoying your life and enjoying that audition and enjoying that rehearsal process, right? Because you're just so consumed with worry, I have to get this, to get it perfect, right? And that is something that has taken me, you know, up till now, still working on to try to overcome, to just be like, you know, here I am, this is what I got today, I can only give you my best. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. I wish you well, and whatever is meant to be for me in the future will be there as long as I keep on putting one step in front of the other, seeking those opportunities with an open mind and a willing heart to, of course, work hard and give my best.
See why I love her.
I love that. Love that.
No, because anyone listening can identify with all the emotions you had about the challenges of being vulnerable. Because it's not just an opera singer. anyone that's got an art, there's a vulnerability to your art.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, it can be painting, it can be anything, and then putting it out there. And then coming to that place where I call myself a recovering perfectionist.
Oh,
right?
I love
I'm
that.
recovering. I don't think you ever recover. I think you just get to a place where you get to a place where you say, hey, this is my best. Like, I worked really hard on this.
Right?
I had some obstacles, you know, but I'm overcoming them, and this is it, and I hope you love it. And if you don't,
That's okay too.
yeah, and you actually, I said this the other day, you don't need everyone to love it. You don't.
Yeah.
So you'll never, we talked about this,
Yeah.
you'll never make everyone happy. And that's
No,
not
you
that
won't.
what you object,
You won't.
right?
And my mom is so wise. I love my mom. She's incredible. Hi,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom.
She's amazing. And one of the things that she has told me has stuck with me and really changed my life for the better, and I hope it can help you all too if you're a
I'm
perfectionist.
here, yeah.
Right.
She says, completed is far better than perfect.
And how many people
Love
don't,
that.
how many people, like, she's like,
Amen. How many times have I not sent the email or made the phone call or done the audition or the competition or drew the painting or made the recording because I was afraid that it just wasn't good enough or it wasn't perfect, you know?
what if it's rejected? What if it's I think too there's a fear of rejection sometimes as an artist that we
Oh,
suffer
yeah.
from. Especially if you've put your whole, I think too the thing like a voice, this is such a very temperamental instrument if you're not a singer. So like I look at my drummer with like, I look at him, I'm like, how nice for you. Like, you literally could be sick as long as those arms, like God forbid you break an arm, but how nice for you. Like I could wake up and be a little congested and the whole thing goes to crap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a very delicate, and not only that, like a drummer, it's an extension, like the sticks, where like your voice, it is you.
Exactly.
So we're talking to somebody who actually at 21 faced things that I did not face at 21, which is why I chased music much later in my life, because I was too afraid to put myself out there and potentially be rejected, because who wants that?
No.
And then like your mother said, like getting, you know, and that's where I got as well, like doing something is better than not doing it, even if it's not perfect. You know, do something.
Yeah.
Send the email, because you know
Right.
what, where's the confidence? They say not today, and you say, okay,
Yeah.
then you try again tomorrow. You know, like and Chad knows, my entire music career is based off of a continual ask. Like, you can ask David, because the whole reason we sang together is because I kept saying, can I sing?
Gotta keep asking.
Can I sing?
Gotta keep asking.
Can I sing?
That's what it takes also.
Please, can I sing?
Do you have a dream collaboration? Like, who would you love to be on stage with?
Oh my God, David, tell me, I'm sorry. God, couldn't you see her with him?
Yes,
I get to
of
that part.
course.
Okay, how about my dream collaboration
Right.
for her?
For
Sorry, what's yours?
I would say any, honestly, at this point. I mean, right now, the dream for me has just been, I would like to share my art. I would like to have the opportunity to share the joy of music. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what it is for me. So whenever there's an opportunity to make music, to share music with others, that is a dream collaboration for me.
I love that.
That's
Like,
amazing.
I'm like, let's pair in Italy with
Right.
Andrea Bocelli. And she's like, I
Seriously.
just want to sing.
You
I
gotta do
love
it.
that.
You gotta do it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and as any good singer, she has an album now.
Ta-da.
So tell us about this. How did
Yes,
this
dude,
come about?
listen.
Well, I was making a lot of improvement vocally, or so I believe.
She was.
Had
She
learned
is.
a lot, had come a long way. And at the same time, you know, I was in my mid-30s, and, you know, I think I'm learning that dreams come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and all sorts of packages, and not always exactly the way we thought they would happen. And so I think I felt, you know, I had chosen some financial stability by means of accepting a university position, and that had given me many wonderful blessings. But certainly that took away from other opportunities I would have had to invest time, energy, resources into pursuing more artistic avenues.
Sure.
So I said to myself, I think it makes more sense that I take some of the resources and the stability that I gained from my decision to stay at the university position to allow myself an an artistic opportunity. So I decided to make that dream happen for myself and make a recording.
That's amazing. I'm going to buy one of these.
Yes, no, absolutely.
I do not have to buy one.
I will give it to you.
No. We believe
support
in
the arts.
supporting. No. But thank you. So these songs on here, are they yours or are they a selection of your favorites or what is the?
I would say that these songs reflect my spirit. They reflect like a lot of my most favorite songs are songs that I think are really beautiful and uplifting and interesting so yeah, they're some of my favorite songs that I wanted to share with the world primarily. Especially if we have time to listen to any, I would love to have you listen to some of the Baquianas Brasileiras, which is Portuguese, and especially this first one, which is the aria, the cantalena. So it's very legato and it's very ethereal and magical and mysterious. And one of the interesting features about this piece is that it is one of the few compositions ever written for humming. And they don't describe it as humming, they use a much fancier word. So they say bocca chiusa, which means closed mouth in Italian, so it sounds way more fancy. But essentially, if you're going to sing with bocca chiusa, right, what's the result? You're humming. So anyway, maybe that doesn't sound too interesting, but I promise it's actually incredibly interesting. And the vocal hum, the vocal line is matched by a cello. So the combination of the human vocal line with bocca chiusa and the cello is just this very interesting sound.
I'm excited to hear that.
It's pretty cool.
So the cello secretly like
So I
one of my
might share
favorite
that.
strings. So what we'll do actually at the end of this podcast is we will have that played. We'll do the aria, so just the first, but we'll play it at the end so everyone can hear it. And then they can go ahead and go check it out. But yeah, I love how she describes art, like it's like the interest of the music.
And again, if you look up the poetry, I don't think there was enough space on the album to write the translation, but of course, a quick Google search you can find it. But it's just the poem is equally as beautiful, and so if you read the poem while you listen to the music, that's what this art is supposed to do. And it depicts a beautiful sunset, the colors of the sunset, how it's like a young lady who is adorning herself to go out on a beautiful evening with a rose-colored cloud that descends in the sky. It's just beautiful.
It's cool.
Wow.
We might just have to add we'll Google it for you.
Yes.
assuming no one has time or energy.
Right.
We'll just
make
go
sure
ahead and add that in there.
this is
Yeah, no, we'll include that in there. So what are your future aspirations?
Yeah, what's next?
Like I said, whatever comes my way. I was so fortunate recently, I think it was in October, that Charles Billingsley, who's a very well-known
We love
gospel
Charles.
artist,
Charles here, yes.
was recording an album. And I literally just ran into him. I was going out of the building when he was coming in, and I just said, hey, what are you doing? How you doing, And he told me, actually, I'm making an album, and it's got some classics on it, and you know what? Hey, it's got an Italian piece on it.
Wow.
Maybe
Good for
you
you.
could help me with that. And I was like, absolutely, that's my specialty. My specialty is helping Americans speak Italian and get the
She is
Italian pronunciation and the diction correct. Yes, because I am fluent in
It's many
Italian,
things actually.
Yeah.
Italian, English,
Spanish, French, German. Yeah.
magical.
Right, that is,
And so, I sent him a lot of audio messages, with coaching, like all the information. I just wanted to give it to him. And he was very receptive, and then he was like, oh, we should meet, so maybe you could coach me. And how about this time? Oh, happens to work perfectly my schedule, great. So that day, we met up for me to coach his diction for his recording.
Sure.
But just in case, I just tested out the voice. Okay, it's good. Don't need to warm up. We're in good shape. Just in case I need to demonstrate anything, just make sure the voice is there. Just for demonstration.
Will it show up for me? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And we get there, and I'm coaching him on the diction, yada yada, and he just puts his hands on the table. I'll never forget. He says, "You know what, Adelaide? I just prayed about it, and I think you should record it."
I love love child.
There we go.
I love
There we go.
You know you performed with the symphony.
Pardon me?
You know you performed with the symphony.
Yes, and I performed with them.
Oh, you did that? You were that?
Yes.
I did not know.
Yes.
I did
Yes.
that.
So that was
Where are you
such
guys
a
connected
wonderful
anyways?
surprise.
I love that.
Yeah,
And then
so-
doors start to open. That's what it gets
Yeah.
into.
So that was so fun because in my mind, I'm screaming, right? Like, I'm so happy, oh my God, so excited. But you know, you try to keep it cool.
Right.
You're so
Right?
honored.
Right.
So I said,
Fabulous, thank you.
you know, as long as you're certain that I will not lower the level of your project, I think we should do this right now before you change your mind. So I was like, I think I maybe, yeah.
She's like this. Testing.
Right, subtext. Let's do this as soon as possible before you change your mind, before there's an act of God and the power shuts off or something. And there's, you know, I don't know what could happen. Right? Yeah. So I got in there, and they hooked me up with all this stuff, and you know, then there's the other side, right? That says, well, this is not right. I haven't practiced, right? I haven't rehearsed. I've never heard the track. I don't know what the tempo is. I've never practiced the song, you know? And then the other side that says, would you knock it out? You've done this every single day. I've worked with Italian, teaching singers, learning music Italian every single day. This is that moment when opportunity meets preparation.
Yep.
Wow.
You are absolutely able to do this right now without preparation.
So you wanted it to happen right now, but then you didn't want it to happen right now. So you're like in this like wandering with yourself. You're like, well, let's do this before you figure out. I don't know if I can do it right now, but yeah, can we do it right now? But I'm not sure if I can do this right now.
Well, I did it, and I did it right then.
Right
One
then,
time.
like
One
he's
take,
like,
done.
you're
Yes.
in there to help him with the Italian. He said, forget it, hand you the mic.
Well, it can be a duet, right? So I did the duet,
Okay.
duet portion. I thought he was just going to do a solo version,
Yeah.
and so he still performed on it. But yes, I record the.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
Yes, so that was
Oh, I
amazing. And then,
love
of course,
that.
as you know, we mentioned before, then he invited me to perform on the debut concert.
That concert. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I'm tracking this whole
Yeah.
thing now. That's amazing.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited to see what happens with your career.
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna
Keep
have
following it.
we'll have all the links for your Spotify,
Yes, she's
your
on Spotify,
YouTube.
Apple Music. She's
Apple
everywhere.
Music, yeah,
This
so-
is literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just
So,
saying she hasn't even
lots of
checked
opportunities.
Spotify to see.
Somebody.
And I told her Spotify doesn't tell you anything. So I said we're gonna actually help her get that Spotify note
That's
as
right.
high as possible.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
And I'm not sure if you're interested, but also Operanda James is performing Gianni Schicchi, funny name, very funny show though. One
What
of
is this? Are you
Puccini's
in
most-
this?
I am. I'm singing Lauretta. Yes.
Oh, we're going. No,
Yeah,
we love an opera. We're
I
going.
love opera so much.
It's hilarious.
I love
This is a really
When is
funny
the
one.
show?
April 1st.
Okay.
Perfect.
April 1st?
Plenty of time.
Yeah, in the downtown academy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
That's
we're
good.
going. We're
That'll be
going.
good.
And I'm also performing in Elijah. Rivermont Presbyterian Church is presenting 2 performances of Elijah. And that is last weekend in February, 2 weekends in February. I'll have to check. We'll update the correct dates for you.
Update this for our.
It's on my calendar. It's on my
Alright.
calendar.
We didn't cover for all that.
Right now. Awesome. Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you for
being here.
joining
Yes,
us.
having
We're
me.
so honored that you
So fun.
came. Please go everywhere and
Yes.
search for her opera music, her opera track. I can't even pronounce half of it, but
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. Is that it's in another language. I want to see Glitter and Bouquet,
Yes.
Well, that's exciting. That has a lot of high notes, lots of high notes.
which she's so good
Ooh,
at.
I'm gonna totally be listening to that one.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
you.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.